here we have the banner section. Give brief information about the developer. Of the first button, you can explore your projects. Go back to the top of the page. They can either use the banner link or the logo. Then for someone to contact you, they can use that button. Again, back to the top of the page. I'm also using the active class in Tailwindcss to show the currently active component. For instance, in the current context, we are in the banner section, so the logo and the banner link are active. If we proceed to the services section, is now the currently active class, so the text is different. I'm also using Tailwindcss. Add this simple effect. We proceed to the project section. As you can see, this smoothly sliding overlay when you hover over the cards. For the purpose of this project, I have only used my portfolio website. Then next is the contact section. We have this form. Let's try to send a message. Email.gmail.com. Some numbers. Testing purposes. Send. I am using the getform.io. Let's refresh. And here we have the new message just a few seconds ago. This is the message. Of course, you can customize more. I'm using a free version. Use the premium one. So let's go back to the website. Back to the top of the page. Another good thing with this web application is that it is fully mobile responsive. The larger screens, as you can see, we have the nav bar at the top. But as the screen gets smaller, that's when it's gone, and then we are presented this menu icon, then this smoothly sliding mobile menu. Then for the active component, the text color is different. Go back to the top of the page, then in the project section, as the screen gets even smaller, and the card is taking the entire width of the screen. For this one, I'm using the grid system. I'll be showing you how. So yeah, this is what we'll be creating. If you're ready, let's get right into coding. Hold Control, then click want to keep them side by side so we can see what we are doing. Delete unnecessary files, create unnecessary code. We are using Tailwindcss, so let us install. Installation, framework, guides. Terminal, paste, enter. In your config file, paste. In your .css file, import. Create unnecessary code. Paste the necessary code. Test it. Use a shade of 400. Is working. Create folders and files. We only want to use a home page since this is a single page application. Now for the components, we have the navbar, we have the banner, services, project, contact, also the footer. So I also want to add an index.js file for exporting and the other files. And then we export the files. This export, not exports. Copy the lines several times. Then change the names. And then import them. As you can see, they are imported within the same line. Then all you have to do is to import the home page into the entry file, in this case app.jsx. And yeah, here they are. Then we want to import the navbar, and then the footer. So let us start working on the navbar. This is the container div. Take the entire width, the height of maybe 24. Give it a background color of orange, just for development purposes. And the parent div, to give it a class name of width 4, maximum width to be 1200 px. It should be center aligned. This one would be containing two menus. We have the desktop menu and the mobile mobile menu should be top. So we'll have another div logo, desktop links. So for the logo, again another div. Then we'll be using React scroll. So make sure you are in the root directory. Pm install React scroll. The link from React scroll is important at the top. David, it is. Then for the desktop links, I want to and cross them in a div. Now instead of creating a list of the links, I want to create an array and map through them. So I'll copy this several times. Take the key, is the index of each link. We are using the link.title. Want to display them in flex format. Then we put a space in between. So want to add some spacing or rather padding around the links. There we have it. Then we move the items to the center of this div. Change the cursor. And then you change the background of the page. Let me use some global colors. I'll copy and paste those ones. These are the colors we'll be using. So let's start with the body. It's a variable color we are using primary. Then for the text, primary one. For the navbar, let's as you can see in our main project, we have this padding. So right here, from large screen onwards, we want it to be 0. Yeah, then we want to do that for all the pages. As you can see, the maximum width has not been applied. So right here, we have to add that. You now check. Yeah, we want to do the same for all the pages. So I'll just create a class. Yes, I want to maximum. Padding top 24. Go to banner. Name width. Then we apply that class pages. I'm doing this because I want the div to be in a fixed position. Fixed. So all you have to do is to copy, paste it here on his contact. And the next thing I want to do is to change the font family for the website. So go to Google Fonts. I'm using Poppins. Here, get font, get embedded code, then import, copy these ones, go to your index.css, then paste. So we are running into an error. To do is to push it at the top, and now go to the body, say font. It has been updated. And then for the logo, I'm using Arial font. This one actually. So get font, edit code. If you go to the navbar, font for this one, yeah, then you want to increase the font size, so text, say 5XL. There we have it. Actually bold. Now for this one we haven't added the padding, so I want to say px. So 0. It is on the same line with the navbar. Then we have the button at the far right. This button here. Go back in the navbar, desktop rings. The bottom just put a div. Then this one is a ring. Now I want to create a global class for all the buttons, so let me do that. Call it btn. right here, vite pg. So let's change the logo. Now let's start working on the banner section. So as you can see from our main project, have the left div, then an image to the right. So it should be flex column. We have the first one is an h1 tag. Then we have another h1 tag, response tag. Let me just copy this to save time. Then below that we have buttons. So that we have the social media. Now for these ones we'll be using React icons. So let's install that. Search for them. So we have LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Import them. I'll copy and paste these a couple of times. Facebook. Not import, but import. Since we are navigating to a different route, we are using the anchor tag. for the href, using the social.url, we'll be filling those ones right here. So let's see what we have. There we have it. For these icons, I want to flex them. Add some padding. Justify this. So in the css file, first give them a class. Search here. Index. So there we have them. Then we want to import the image. I am using my own images from pexel.com. You can use your own. Just into the images folder, png. There we have the image. So let's flex this. There we have it. And then for this div, we want to limit the width to 700 pixels. Justify between item center and let's add these colors in this part. Right to copy the same. Then in the each one tag, I want to increase the text sizes. For medium on ones, I want the text to be 5 pixels. Let's add some spacing. Now, as you can see, in smaller screens, this image should be at the top and then the text at the bottom. Let's address that. We target the first div, the left div. So in smaller screen, this should be order 2. We do do the same for the image. Smaller screen, order 1, large on ones, order 2. Then all you have to do is to this and say smaller screens is flex column, then from large on ones it is flex low. There we have it. It's taking shape. Next thing I want to do is to design the buttons. So hold down the Alt key. Now as you can see, the buttons are of the same size. So what we want to do is go back to the CSS file, the button section. Then we want the width to be 14 em. Then for the socio icons, we can see the size is a bit larger in our original design. So go back in the banner components, social links, text. Yep. Choose 2em. To be 1.3em. Yeah, let us stick with that. You make the screen larger, you can see it's fully responsive. So yeah, the next section is the services section. Let us start working on that. Services. Flex column maximum width, we want to give it 700 pixels. Then we have this top section and the cards section. Shift. So you know, our class name flex column. Then we have another div for this one. Again, it will be class name flex column items center. See what we are doing. For this one, we'll have a h1 tag, services, then below that we have the divider, an empty div, class name, right, pixels. Then for the BG, take the secondary color. This is what we have here, and we change the color of the text. Into secondary. We want to increase the size of the text. So text pixel from medium. From medium onwards, we want the text to be 4 pixel. Make it 5. Okay, we add some space in between the divider and the text. So margin y by 2. Then you have this text here. Let's copy. So t-tab, paste. This one should be maximum width. This one it should be text center. It should be MX auto. There we have it. Next thing, it is these cards. I just copy and paste the data because I am mapping. Now that we have the data, let me paste the mapping function, since it is something we have done in our previous sections. Now that we have the mapping function and the data is displayed on the template, let's work on achieving these effects. So we target this container div. To give it some padding, let's use 10 padding X. Going to give it 4, then my going to give it 3. Yeah, we have separated. It should be rounded medium. Then we need to group the cards. So on hovering group PG. Text. We also want to increase the size of the title. So medium onwards. Text should be like that. Then it should be bold. Yeah, we have that. Next thing I want to do is this scaling effect. So yeah, we have this similar to our original design. This text seems a bit smaller. Yeah. So in smaller screens, this is how it looks. In larger screens, see the responsiveness. Here we have it. And this is our current design. This is our original design. So the next thing we want to do is to work on the project section. So in our project section, we have the title at the top and then the cards. So let's copy this top section from our services component. Paste that. what we want to do, just change this. It is the time to work on the cards. So I'll just copy and paste the data. So that we have the data, let's map through the cards. So we have the image, then the title. So like I mentioned, we'll be using the grid system, and from MD, and for larger screens, 3 columns. So then we add a gap of 4 to separate the cards. Let's map through the cards. This is the grouping div. Which is taking the key index, and for the outer div, flex column, yeah, taking in the image, we have the cards. This should be relative. Which one? For the card title, we have it text center to text. Yeah, select and we have this overlay. This is an empty div, so you can remove the closing div. Absolute top 0 h. Now this one should only apply on group over. So yeah, and we have this threading text. So another div. Sorry, top 0. For the text, add dot details. There we have it. Then we have this button. Flex column. There we have it. For the button, let us apply button class. Not to center it, let us use a div. Justify center. Then we want margin y, because the y-axis to be 4. Then for the card, we are having a black background. So right here, from the x-axis, let's use 2. So the next thing we want to do is to add this sliding effect. So for that one, we target this div that cards. Just remove this top. And for the bottom, let's try to use -20. Not yet, -24. Yeah, that's better. Now, when we hover, we want the bottom to be 0. Yeah, working perfectly. Now what you have to do is add a duration 500. Yeah, sliding smoothly. So on larger screens, working perfectly fine. But we don't want to see all this stuff before hovering. So we go back to the current div. Say overflow should be hidden. Now it will only show when you hover over the cards. For responsiveness, now for smaller screens, let's see. So working perfectly fine. Need to add that. Yeah, amazing. I want this to be, let's add some padding right here. So it should be 4. And that is the project section done. Next, we are moving on to the final section, and that is the contact section. Now, for this section, I am using a pre-made form. So all you have to do is head over to a website we call free content. Then click on Tailwind. Then you have the forms. I'm using this one. So demo edit code, show code. Then pick the code. Go to something we call HTML to JSX. Click on the second link. Paste your code. Then pick the JSX section. Paste it. You now check. You have this form. What we need to do is to design, and we want to remove this icon. Go to the bottom, change this color, click on that, hold down the Alt key, for the BG we want to use secondary one. Let's change the text color. Primary one. Copy that and paste for the text area section. And now for the entire page, we want to use the same color as the rest of the website. So BG, and there we have it. Now for the button, just get rid everything, just replace it with the button class. Then for this div, just get rid of it. Maybe use BG. Secondary one. Then for the text, we want to change that to our own. Yeah, and that is it. We have this one. We have used a number. We need to use a phone right here. Then for this text, we need to change the size. Send us a message. Can use for. Yeah. And just like that, we are done, my friend. Have this returned thing. You just have to get rid of that. Let's see whether it is responsive. Okay, not yet. Just pushed it to the right. What we need to do, so let's get rid of these two leaves. Then at the bottom, yeah, there we have it. So on smaller screens, very responsive. And as you can see, as we scroll, the navbar is being hidden. So what we need to do is to add some z index. Say z14. Yeah, working pretty fine. And the next thing we want to do is to add the footer. To design the footer. So for this one, class with for other div, then we have a p tag, we have the copyright, 2025, right, south. This one should be Rex, justify, center. Can add some height, be that too. Items, center. Yeah, there we have it. Then we can change the background, pg, using secondary one. Yeah, now the height is too huge, so let's try to use 24. Pretty fine. Then let's fix this. It is reserved. Now the last thing we want to do is to address the navbar. So back in the navbar, then for the desktop menu, we want to display flex from large screens onwards. Then for smaller screens, we want it to be hidden. So let's create the mobile menu. Have the div. First thing we want to have is let's create show menu, set show menu. We'll be using the use state hook. So we want to start with pause. Then we create a function constant toggle menu. Want to set show menu to the opposite. This one I want to say this one will be using a ternary operator. Then we want add a class. Let's first say on click. Let's add an event function. Let's have a menu. Now when you click, it's changing to either open or close. Let's add another div. Push this one. For this one, we want flex justify between. Then to the left, we'll be adding the logo. There we have it, David, and then open. So if you click, working perfectly fine. Need to change the cursor, pointer. Yeah. So for the logo, let's add some class name. Text will be to Excel. And then from media onwards, text will be for Excel. Then font should be bold. Let's add some padding at the top. Padding Y, say 2. Perfect. Now I want to change this and use a React icon. So back to React icons. Click a menu and pick the first one. Copy that. Import it at the top. And we want to use that instead of this. Perfect. Then we use a cross. Let's pick this. Open. Import. Import. Replace. So yeah, working. And now we want to increase the size. Medium on once. Text wants it to be 3XF. Yeah, perfect. Now it is the sliding menu. Slider menu. I'm using a div. Want the div to be with, let's say, half of the screen. For the background, use secondary one. The height, we want to use the screen. fact, for this I'd be using the backtick. So here we have it. Right now it is not working, but it will in a moment. So the $ curly braces, then we want to check for the menu. It's showing translate. Want to translate zero else want to translate x to negative 100%. Let's see. Yeah, working perfectly, but it's not hiding, so I need to press it as absolute, then left 0. Yeah, amazing. The next thing we want to do is to put in now the links. Just copy and paste the desktop links because it is the same thing. Paste them. Now what you need to do is change this one to flex column. Then instead of desktop links, let us use mobile links. Then go to our .css file and add that class. It is padding y. Let's try with 2. Say 3. Then we want the padding left about 2. Then we want to have some border bottom. That way. Then we want the cursor to be pointer. Perfect. And then back in the nav bar, it's not smoothly sliding, so we need to add a duration of maybe 500. So perfect. The next thing we want to do is to add the functionality of these links, because as you can see, even for the desktop menu, they are not working. Then we need to hide this mobile menu for desktops. So back in the mobile menu, we want to say class name, display block, and then from large screen onwards, it needs to be hidden. So that one is addressed. Let us work on the scroll links. So let's go on to the mobile menu, and we say to it should be going to link.url. Then we add the smooth class from Tailwindcss. This one should be true. Then for the spy, it should also be true. Then for class name, let's say duration maybe 700, 500. And then all you have to do is to go back to the different components and add this name. So for the banner section, it will be the banner. Can copy, you paste into the contact. Now for this one, it will be contact. For the projects, it will be projects. For the services, services. If you go back, click on services, projects, contacts, working perfectly fine, but the menu is not crossing. So back to the navbar, all you have to do is add a non-click event. Then we say toggle menu. Now if you click on services, click on contact, yeah, next thing we want to do is to change the colors and a component is active. So like I mentioned, we have the active class in Tailwindcss. The text will be secondary. So we see the banner, go to projects, is the currently active component. Now this one is not working. Let's fix that again. So we go to the logo, this one right here. All we have to do is to copy this and the active class. For the URLs, this one will be banner. If you click it now, it's going to the banner, but it is not toggling. So we remove this repetition, then this one click event is not required. So if you click on it, back to the top, yeah, then you can just change the cursor pointer and the duration of 500. So we are in the contact section. If we click now on the logo, it goes back to the top of the page. Now for these ones, we need to do the same. So let's just copy all the classes, copy, and then in the mobile menu, or either in the desktop menu, just have to paste. Now if we go back to the desktop menu, we click on services, projects, we need to refresh. So in the banner section, this one is active, that one is active, that one is active. This one again, we need to copy for the menu. This one right here, copy, go to the desktop logo, then you paste, come back, refresh, banner working perfectly fine. Services, if you click back, yeah, and then now the last thing is to change this to DK. Then we need to change the font type. So font, again we are using nice. This one we need to hook it up. So in the navbar, and then we have the shoot me an email. This one right here, you can paste the classes and remove this one. Then we have two contacts, and it's unnecessary. So if you click, goes back here. Yeah. But yeah, that is it guys for now. I'll be posting more tutorials on Tailwind, React, Express, Python, Java, and much more. If you liked the video, kindly consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that you'll be notified in future once I upload another new video. Thanks.